Hi, I'm Billy Vera, and you're watching Ken Boxer Live on TVSB.
From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live, Santa Barbara's one and only entertainment talk show. Let's welcome the host of the show, Ken Boxer.
Thank you very much. I am Ken Boxer, and this is Ken Boxer Live. Can you believe it, everybody? 95 shows strong tonight. Yes, thank you, all of you. Quite a show we have for you tonight, but I want to, go through a few things before we start the show. I want to thank two of our sponsors that are actually, some of the sponsors are actually in the studio tonight, and we'd like to thank them personally right here. Alicia Kupari, owner of Spa Sia Salon, as well as Joe Baumel, owner of Persona Pizza or Pizzeria, our new and latest sponsors. Let's welcome them. Thank you. I also wanted to mention, give a plug, my 7-year-old daughter, Dagny. She is on The Young and the Restless on CBS this coming December 25th, Christmas Day. So when you're opening up your presents, you'll also watch perhaps CBS, Young and the Restless, and you'll watch my daughter Dagny on her first episode of The Young and the Restless. Yes, Dagny. Also, I was asking Ellen, it's been almost, I think, 8 or 9 months now. We really want you to be in this chair on an interview. You're only less than a mile away from us in the studio, so if you or any of your friends of Ellen, if you know her, we'd like to have her on this show and interview. Wouldn't we, everybody? Yeah. Yes. I can't tell you. We'd love to. Okay, there we go with that. Now, let's get on with the show that we do have tonight. Our guest tonight has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's a Grammy Award winner, writer, actor, musician, a music historian, and he has a sensational new book, which we're going to discuss, called Rip It Up, and he had the #1 selling record back in 1987, which we all know at this moment. Everybody, Billy Vera is going to be with us right after this. Don't go away.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors: Zoto's Bowling and Beyond and Z's Tap House for the best in family entertainment. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. And now, back to our show.
Returning to our show tonight, the Grammy Award winner, singer, songwriter, actor, author, and music historian, Billy Vera. Billy's been very busy with a new album and recently a published book entitled Rip It Up, The Specialty Record Story. And Billy will be performing coming December 28th at Feinstein's at Vitello's in Los Angeles. Let's give it up, everybody. Let's welcome back the talented Billy Vera. Welcome back. It's so good to see you.
Good to be here, man.
Man, you got a new book coming out.
Yeah, it's out, yeah.
Let me show this.
Getting good reviews, and I got a publicist that's doing a great job getting it everywhere, so it's great.
Rip It Up. I noticed that the subtitle, The Specialty Record Story.
Correct.
Okay, tell us about the book.
Well, it's a #4 in a series of books that BMG's putting out. Each one is about an independent record company, old or new. And Specialty was done, first came about in the 1940s, right after the war. And it was the #1 company in rhythm and blues and gospel. And then as time went by, it was right on the ground floor of rock and roll with artists like Lloyd Price, Little Richard, Sam Cooke, and Larry Williams, and a bunch of wonderful artists. So they asked me to write about it.
And you said it's kind of there's a series of books
Yeah.
that you're writing.
Well, I just
You're
wrote
just
the
writing
one.
this one.
Yeah, because I worked as a consultant for them some years ago. I was in charge of their catalog, reissuing. I did about 50 or so CDs and a box set.
But this isn't your first book. Correct?
No. Before that, the first time I was here, I was plugging Harlem to Hollywood, which is a memoir.
And that became a documentary, right?
That became a documentary by the same name. And both the documentary and Harlem to Hollywood, the book, can be found on Amazon, as can Rip It Up, the specialty record
Well,
store.
how did Rip It Up get that title? I'm curious.
Because that was one of Little Richard's big hits, Rip It Up.
Okay.
And, he had Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, Ready Teddy, Rip It Up, The Girl Can't Help It, Lucille, Good Golly Miss Molly, Keep a Knockin', Jenny Jenny. Yeah, quite a few hits.
Well, you brought with you a clip, which, if you can lead us into it, about Art Roop.
Well, Art Roop was the founder of the company,
Specialty Records.
Specialty Records, and he was kind enough to write the foreword in my book for me. He's 102 years old, and he's sharper than all of us put together. I promise you. And he's got a brilliant mind, and he founded the company. He discovered Little Richard. He discovered Sam Cooke, and all these wonderful artists that I love, and I'm sure the older members of our audience do too.
So you interviewed him.
I did an interview with him. Yeah, I came up to Santa Barbara with a cameraman, and we did a 90-minute interview with him. And
By the way, that's hard to get because he's so busy.
he hates doing interviews, but he likes me.
Yeah.
For some reason.
He obviously doesn't like me because I wanted him on the show. And
He
won't
doesn't
come.
like anybody. He feels, that people misquote him, and in fact, when he got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame some years ago, he asked me to go in his place. And I said, Art, I can't. I don't want to do that. I said, you should go. This is a great honor. Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, but they're going to quote me wrong. And I said, Art, you got to go. So he went to New York and was inducted. And Lloyd Price, who some of you remember his wonderful hits, "'Cause You Got Personality." Sure. Well, and "Lawdy Miss Claudie," which was Lloyd's first hit on Specialty Records, and Lloyd introduced him. And Lloyd once said to me one thing, a lot of these label owners get a bad rap. I said, oh, they're rip-off artists, they steal from not Art Roop. Lloyd Price told me, he said, as long as Art Roop owns Specialty Records, he says, I got a statement and a check every 6 months like clockwork. So
you met him, you have this interview, and he is giving you information for this book.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. Well, he'd been giving me information for 30 years, from back when I started working for him. Well, and we've maintained a friendship over the
Well, let's watch this clip from
the interview. Let me set up the clip.
Oh, sure.
In this clip, it's just a couple minutes long, and he talks about Little Richard and how they found him. And, at first they weren't so sure that this guy was kind of crazy. He was bugging all the secretaries, I'm the greatest thing you ever heard. I'm Little Richard, So here's Art Roop.
All right, let's watch.
Richard was very aggressive, and he kept calling the office, and I don't know which of the girls I had in the office came up and said, Mr. Roop, you've got to do something. This guy is taking our time, driving us crazy. He's calling us every day, sometimes twice a day. So I went down, said, Bums, did we get a tape from a guy calling himself Richard Penniman?
Yeah.
Or Little Richard?
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know. So he went over to periodically, we would send back the rejects. So we had a box where we accumulated them till we decided to send them back. And here we found a nondescript brown paper wrapping around a small 6-inch or so small tape reel.
Right.
And I said, let's play it.
Billy Vera, everybody. Rip It Up. Rip It Up is the book we're talking about. But I want to
I want to say one more
yeah.
thing about Art Roop. 102 years old, he goes to work 5 days a week. Still. The girls at his office told me that he outworks them. He runs a foundation, a philanthropical foundation. He gives away millions and millions of dollars every year to worthy causes that he believes in. So he's a good man.
Yeah, he certainly is. I wanted to find out about, you've written, I think you had a #1 song for Dolly Parton, did you not?
Yeah. It's called I Really Got the Feeling. That was in
That was your
1979.
The first #1 for somebody else
Yeah.
that you wrote. So
Yeah.
you are also, we really haven't focused on your writing. You are a writer of music and writing of lyrics. Does that come easy for you?
Not really. I don't write so much anymore, but when I did, I used to bang on the piano until something came to me. I don't like to write songs that sound like songs you've heard a million times. So many songs bug me because they're not fresh, they're not different. And I like little tricks in songs, whether lyrically or musically. Like I'll throw in a chord that people make you turn your head. What was that? What was he saying? Or maybe a lyric phrase that one song I rhymed Lake Pontchartrain with I jump right off a plane. I mean, how many people could rhyme that? So I'm capable of writing a simple song, which I Really Got the Feeling. The Dolly Parton song was fairly simple, although I had a few tricks up my sleeve in that one.
Well, At This Moment, you
At
wrote.
This Moment.
How did that come about?
That was
In
an
your
interesting story. Well, interesting to me. Maybe I don't know about you, but I was about 33 years old at the time. My career was not doing that well, and in fact, it was doing pretty badly. And I was living at my mother's house at 33 years old. They say the millennials are doing that. I was ahead of the curve. So we're playing a gig in this real classy part of town at a club, and I met this 20-year-old college girl, and she was beautiful. I mean, my God, I saw her out in the audience, and she looked like she owned the room. She had that kind of confidence, and it was like. Remember the first time you saw Bogey and Bacall? She was 20 and he was older than 33, I think. So we started dating. And she's telling me about breaking up with her previous boyfriend and how he suffered so much because he loved her so much and she destroyed him and broke his heart. So I started writing this song from his point of view as I perceived it. And I couldn't finish it. And usually when I can't finish a song in 3 hours or so, I toss it. And this time I didn't. I put it in my mother's piano bench, and I left it there until about a year later when she dumped me. And then I knew how it ended. And I figured out, that's where those lines came from at the end where, if you'd stay, I'd subtract 20 years from my life, And what seems like a stupid line on the surface, the next one is, I'd fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walk on, which is stupid, a stupid line. But the following line is, if I could just hold you again. So at the time, I didn't realize that it was actually pretty great. Because what you're doing, you're saying something outrageously huge. I'd fall down on my knees and kiss the ground like a schmuck, like a real idiot. I mean, something really big for something so small if I could just hold you again. So it's the bigness against the smallness that gives that line its power, I think. So
When did the music come to that?
same time.
Same time?
Yeah.
Speaking of music, people want to hear more.
Must we?
People want to hear you sing.
Oh.
Okay, can you tell us a song you're about to sing for us?
Yeah, this is from my album I did previous to the new one. I always wanted to do a big band album. And thanks to Michael Bublé, who sold 10 million records of At This Moment on his album, I was able, one of the checks that I got sent was able to pay for this big band album, big 18-piece band. And I said, you know, everybody's making big band records now. They're all doing the Great American Songbook. They're all doing the standards. What can I do to make mine stand out from the rest of these people? What can I do to make mine different? So a pal of mine said, well, what do you know better than anybody else? You know black music better than just about anybody. I said, oh, yeah. I'll do songs dedicated to the great black songwriters of the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. You know, the Duke Ellingtons, the Count Basies, you know, Buddy Johnson, James P. Johnson, all these songs. So that's the theme, if you will, of Billy Vera Big Band Jazz. And this song that I'm going to sing for you was written by the great stride pianist. He's the master of 1920s jazz piano playing. His name was James P. Johnson. And the song is called If I Could Be With You 1 Hour Tonight. Your mama would want to shoot me. I made that one. If I could be with you, I'd love you strong. If I could be with you, I'd love you long. I want you to know that I wouldn't go until I told you, honey, why I love you so. If I could be with you 1 hour tonight, if I could free the things, whatever's something, I'm telling you true, I'd be anything but blue. If I could be with you, if I could be with you. Now listen to this bad band. With you, I'd love you long. I want you to know I wouldn't go until I told you, honey, why I love you so. If I could be with you 1 hour tonight, if I was free to do the things I might, I'm telling you true, I'd be anything but blue. If I could be with you for just 1 hour, if I could be with you, if I could be with you.
Billy Vera, everybody. Yes. Very nice. Well, do you enjoy that?
I love it.
Love that music.
You're kidding, man. I love Count Basie. I love Duke Ellington's one of my heroes. Yeah. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't love that music.
Yeah, but the music that you did prior to that, you know, that you were like the Dolly Parton hit.
Yeah.
So different.
Well, you know, that comes from my my experience as a staff songwriter at a publishing company. In those days, you would be locked up in a little room for however many hours a day, and your boss would come in and he'd say, okay, write something for the Drifters, or write something for Tony Bennett, you know. So you had to learn how to write in all these different styles. You had to familiarize yourself with different singers, with their different, some singers have a little tiny range of 3 or 4 notes. Some singers have a very wide range, like a Patti LaBelle. Or you have to know what kind of subject matter they like to sing about. This one likes to sing about this kind of song and that kind of song. So you familiarize yourself with all things. It's like being an actor. You have to put yourself in the position. If I have to write a song for Aretha Franklin, I got to be a woman while I'm writing that song. You know, I got to think like a woman feels. Or if I'm writing for the Ronettes, I got to think like a teenage girl writes, thinks.
When you are writing, I want to get back to that just for a moment. The late, great Leonard Cohen, I saw him in an interview, and he said that when he wrote, it was like a slow drip coming out of, you know, a spout, a spigot, and it just took a long, long time. Yet, you know, Bob Dylan, on the other hand, he was saying, can write Blowing in the Wind in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so how is it for you? Is it a slow
We would
process?
have to write on demand, you know, at that time, because you'd have to have a song. If they said, you know, the Shirelles are going to record next week, you got to have a song ready for them. Otherwise, somebody else is going to get it.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of songs, wouldn't we like to hear another song, ladies and gentlemen? Yes.
No, work me to death, man.
Let's do it again. What are we going to hear?
Well, this one is from my current album. It's called Timeless. And I went back to the old Billy Vera and the Beaters style music with some different musicians this time. And this is a song that when I was producing Lou Rawls, I produced 4 Lou Rawls albums back in the 90s. And I had Lou do this one. It's called Moon Glows. And for those of you that are younger, you might not remember there was a singing group called the Moon Glows. They had a big hit song called Sincerely and another one called The 10 Commandments of Love, and I love the Moon Glows. So I wanted to dedicate a song to them. And so it's sort of a song about a guy looking back. So as soon as the music starts, we'll get up there and we
Billy
will
Vera, everybody.
croon it. Moon glows, I hear sincerely by the moon glows. I start to feel the way the tune goes, the way I felt way back in school. Foolish, I'm gonna let myself feel foolish and even be a bit high schoolish. Ain't gonna hide behind my cool. Sometimes I laugh out loud or either cry. Feel like I'm on a cloud or falling from the sky. I'm not the kind of guy who loves at first sight. Oh, I guess I've been waiting just for you. Oh, I guess I was waiting just for you. Here's Tom Canning on the piano. He used to be Etta James's piano player. And then there's Lon Price, who's been playing saxophone for me for more than 40 years. And he ain't tired yet. Sometimes I laugh out loud or either cry. Feel like I'm on a cloud or falling from the sky. I'm not the kind of guy who loves at first sight, yes, I was waiting just for you. Oh, I guess I've been waiting just for you. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Thank you. Ooh, they like that one.
I love that. You know, we got less than a minute, if you can believe this. It's going by so quickly. I was thinking what I was going to ask you today, and if you could try and answer it very quickly. You know, when I'm in the mood and I happen to, one of those moments when you're with a special person, I put your music on. Who do you listen to in those special moments?
Well, I like Billie Holiday. That gets him in the mood. Pretty good. Old Billie Holiday gets him right in the mood. Yes, sir.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. Billy Vera, everybody. Well, that's our show for tonight. So far, our guest Billy Vera, yes, Billy Vera, and their director J.P. Montalvo and the entire KBL crew. I'm Ken Boxer. Good night, everybody, and thank all of you. Thank you.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Terry Ryken, your broker with a personal touch for all your real estate needs. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. Spa Sia, the best in Santa Barbara for holistic facials, waxing, and massage. The Daily Grind, espresso, juice, and deli. Spud Nuts Donuts. Zoto's Bowling and Beyond and Z's Tap House for the best in family entertainment. Persona Wood-Fired Pizzeria. It's simply delicious. The Magic Castle Cabaret, your one and only place to see magic in Santa Barbara. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Patrini's Family Restaurant. La Quinta Inn and Suites. Country Catering, Meat Market and Deli. Lido's Takeout. Jack's Bagels and Bistro. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme composed and arranged by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.